Welcome back to the four-man Icebreaker Challenge in Tucson, Arizona. This is SoCal versus NorCal. My name is Dave Vincent with David Fink. We can have a tournament during the pandemic. We can swab the players. We can isolate them, put them in the bubble, make sure that everybody follows the guidelines from the CDC, and we can keep everybody safe and still enjoy the game that we love the most. And that's exactly what we've done with this Icebreaker Challenge. Earlier in September, we had the four-man here in Tucson, Arizona, featuring just Tucson players that followed all of the protocols. Well, now here, it's NorCal and SoCal. This is match number 2 with Loren Collado from Northern California going up against Dylan Hernandez from Southern Cal.
This should be a good one. You'd say on paper, Dave, that Loren is probably the favorite. He's got a lot more pro experience. He's ranked higher right now on the tour at number 23. Dylan is number 29. Dylan has not officially qualified, although he earned a ranking through 17th place finishes and also finishing 7th in a race for 8 LTE stop. Dylan with a nice start to the match there, a good return. Weak serve from Loren.
0, serve 0. Point. 1, serve 0.
Loren says his most satisfying victory, Dave, was beating Ryan Bowler to qualify for the first time.
2, serve 0.
I can see that.
He's not alone when you take down the Bulldog. You've earned your stripes.
0, serves 2. Deep.
Loren is by far the tallest player in this icebreaker. Listed at 6'2", Dave, but feels like he might be 6'3".
Yeah, he's taller than 6'2".
Yeah.
I think that was the last time that they measured him when he was getting his driver's license when he was 16. But
Okay.
he's definitely taller than that.
1, serves 2.
He's built like a tennis player. Or maybe a swimmer.
Funny you should say that, Dave. His favorite sport besides handball, water polo, which he plays competitively. Comes from a handball family, Dave. His brother, Anthony, who also happens to be his favorite doubles partner, is a very high-level player, aspiring qualifier.
Boy, that's 3 missed kill shots now for Collado,
3, serves 1.
resulting in all 3 of those points.
Loren says his favorite shot, Dave, is the fly kill. He should have a lot of opportunities to use that here in this event.
4, serves 1.
And he called a wrist against himself there. That's the first rally that didn't end with Loren trying to hit a kill shot.
5, serves 1.
We talked about Ricardo Palma's, who's our referee here, lost the first match. Disappointing loss in the
Second serve.
A finals at the Nationals, leading 9-0 in the tiebreaker, lost 11-9. Loren on his home courts, Dave, led Sean Kerr 19-11 at the most recent San Francisco Race for 8 Pro qualifier, lost that match 25-23.
Boy, that's tough. I think we've all got those losses, though.
Come on.
I really like Loren's overhand game, Dave. He's got the length, and he's got really strong overhand power with both hands. Just standing behind the court, Dave, I've been so impressed with how he can drive the ball with both hands.
Yeah, he's got good leverage. He also started playing at a very young age, and when you start early, you find ways to get the ball to the front wall when you're not really that big. Loren wasn't always a 6-footer. I mean, he's been playing for a very long time, and those naturally gifted young kids that are, 9 years old, and they go in there and they're trying to get the ball to the front wall, they figure out ways of doing it. And if they're passionate about the game, It's pretty impressive to see how much power they have and how much leverage they can generate. Katrina Casey's a great example. Hitting ceiling shots at 9, 10, 11 years old like a pro.
Second serve.
And being under 100 pounds doing so. Oh, that's a great kill shot right there. Dylan Hernandez showing off in that right corner.
I saw Dylan play.
I'm impressed with Dylan's physique.
I've always been impressed with Dylan's game. I saw him for the first time in Tucson and thought, wow, this guy's the next big thing. And he had that huge breakout performance at the LAAC pre-qualifier in 2018, where he defeated Leo Canales and John Wayne Cortez to win.
Point. Seven. Seven serves one.
Oh, nice get from Loren. Those long arms. Look how... Good rally here, Dave. That was a good rally. The best one of the tournament so far. Loren Collado is so long that he's able to just lunge toward those balls and flip them to the back court, saving himself the rally.
I do have to correct myself here, Dave, because I don't want the string of emails and texts. Dylan Hernandez defeated Leo Canales in the semifinals of that 2018 race for a pre-qualifier, lost in the final to John Wayne Cortez in a tiebreaker.
Okay. So you're saying he hasn't had a breakthrough yet?
I would say yes, unless you consider that semifinal win against Leo.
I do.
Okay.
I would tell everybody it was the final and just leave the semi word off.
Right. It's not lying. It was a final.
Just paraphrasing.
Seven serves two.
Loren Collado represents the Olympic Club proudly with a terrible air there. Dylan Hernandez plays out of the LAAC.
Eight serves two. Point.
Plays a lot with Vic Perez and Mondo Ortiz.
Well, that's going to get his game better. I'm sure he hits around with Marco Chavez as well.
Calls Vic and Mondo his toughest opponents. Handball heroes, Dave. You just mentioned Marcos. He's one of them for Dylan Hernandez. All LA guys. Vince Munoz, Mondo Ortiz, Tati Silvera, Vic Perez.
Well, not bad guys to look up to.
And we mentioned, I have at least, well, far more times than I should have, his win against Leo. Calls that his most satisfying win. And I promise that's the last time I'm going to bring that up.
Please. I want to hear it some more. The three previous times didn't really register, but the last time I
got it wrong one of the times, so
Point.
it's a great win. Apparently more for you than him.
I just wanted to come on here and announce that he did beat Leo. Now I can leave.
11 serves two.
You're part of Dylan Hernandez's troop.
I am the president of the fan club. Dylan was leading. Now, almost wins count as breakthroughs, right?
No.
Okay, well,
First time out.
he nearly had a breakthrough against Niall O'Connor at the 2019 Portland Race Freight LTE. Led Niall 23-18.
Uh-oh.
Niall went on to finish 7th in the next event, defeating Daniel Cordova in the first round. Lost that match, though, 25-23.
Yeah, those are tough.
13 serves two.
Like Loren, cites his favorite shot as the fly kill. Look at that great movement from Dylan. He's really reading Loren's shots. He's sliding to the right there, knowing Loren's going to shoot the right corner, and he's in a perfect position for that dump re-kill.
I think it all begins with footwork, and Dylan looks like he's in some of the best shape I've ever seen him. Looks like he's really been working out.
Point. 15 serves 2.
This is going very quickly here. Not at all what I would have expected.
Well, we're only 9 minutes into this.
Good ball. Good ball.
Lauren drops that in just inside the back line. Now, do you call that back line the baseline or the back line, Dave?
2 serves 15.
The base, but I like to say personally as an announcer, back line.
Okay. I just want to be on the same page. There's a fly kill. Takes too much off of that, though. Another fly kill, and this one he sends into Waveland Avenue. Dylan's favorite sports are basketball and baseball. Dave, I heard him talking a lot of baseball with you before this match.
Yeah, now I have a baseball buddy. Somebody that knows as much as I think I do. He might know more. He seems to be piped into the SoCal baseball
15 serves
world.
3.
He's played against a lot of current Major League Baseball players when he was in high school.
Wow.
You know, when you're down there and you're playing other teams, somebody down there is going to be a Major League Baseball player. He was mentioning that a team that he played has 4 current Major League pitchers on it, and he had to face those guys in a playoff. Each pitcher once in 4 days. It's like, you know, you're talking about if you could even make contact in those days.
Side out.
But he has some great stories to tell
3 serves 16.
because of the social distance thing. I didn't get to do my, oh, you must have played second base, that sort of thing. Because it was mainly I just wanted to see who he knew and what.
Well, I heard a lot of
experiences.
lingo.
4 serves 16.
Dylan, favorite sport to play, though, he says, is basketball, and his favorite athlete, Kobe Bryant.
5 serves 16.
That was a brilliant kill shot from Loren Collado there, Dave.
Side out.
Loren all of a sudden flipped the switch and was playing really good, and then he hits that ball deep. Kind of putting the pressure on Dylan. Something psychological happens when you're down by a huge number, and then all of a sudden you can say, well, I just
16 serves
relaxed.
5.
You know, I relaxed and I did no pressure, but it's not, you're playing harder, so you're not really relaxing.
No, I don't feel too relaxed when I'm down 16-4 with the cameras rolling.
Deep ball.
It's hard to hit the ball off balance with your left hand out.
Yeah, if you tried to do it, it'd be hard to do.
I mean, he loses the point because of it, but really that's a very difficult shot to execute.
Deep.
Maybe the balls are flying out here, because I know he's going to attribute that to the ball just being too bouncy. But that's not an easy shot.
That's a beautiful left there. Dylan keeps the rally alive, and look at that great footwork. Getting back in front of Loren, back in the center of the court.
Side out.
That had a tricky spin to it. When the ball hits the front wall and the ceiling, comes straight down, not only do you have
5
to
serves
run
17.
pretty much as fast as you can, but when you hit the ball, it's got this strange spin to it.
Point.
Yeah, it hits a front wall ceiling and then hits a side wall. In the 4-wall court, I don't see it a lot outdoors, but inside when that happens, the ball sometimes will go back toward the front wall. It has that much spin as it comes down on that side wall.
6 serves 17.
But you have to adjust your swing to account for that strange spin on the ball.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you'll put the ball on the ground. Now, that's a nice pass, but not deep enough. Look at that beautiful left from Dylan.
But you see that court coverage from Collado? Able to just get his hand on most balls that others would let go by, extending the rally.
And another ball that's very difficult to even return, and Loren hits it so clean that he hits it a foot long.
Dave, on these pro player interviews that you've had where you ask them what their favorite shots are, and they say things like fly kill.
It's never actually what their favorite shot is.
Right,
except
it's
for Ricardo,
the
Palma.
shot that they like to make the most, right?
Yeah.
It's not the shot that they're actually good at.
Right.
And I'm not putting down Dylan Hernandez, although I am. I'm not, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
I see these players say that they love the kill shot, but I never see them go for it. I love it too, but
Possible game points or 6.
20-6 here for Dylan, who's completely dominated.
I like that. If it hits that sidewall in the air, and it doesn't, and Dylan takes care of it left to front to close out game number 1. The score there one more time, Dave?
21-6.
My goodness.
Dylan Hernandez with 3 aces there, 3 first strike kills, 9 right-hand kills, 2 left-hand kills. He won 8 of the 11 6-plus shot rallies. But the big stat here, Dave, is Dylan with 5 airs, Loren with 14.
That's terrible.
That's hard to overcome. Now, you're saying, well, why wouldn't you have more kill shots? But really, you only played 27 points, and there weren't that many side outs, so that can be a little bit misleading, the actual number of kill shots. But you look at the ratio of Dylan's airs to Loren's airs, and also Dylan's kill shots to Loren's. Dylan with twice as many rally ending shots and 1/3 as many airs. That tells the story right there.
Yeah, when your opponent has 14 errors, you don't need as many kill shots.
And the game's moving quickly.
Well, it only took 14 minutes
Right.
and 47 seconds
Right.
for that first game. I mean, it's like a point every 30 seconds.
Right.
Pretty impressive.
Resume play, second game. First one out.
Referee called the score there, or was about to, and then Dylan forgot something. I think he is filming this with his camera and had to turn it on. These players, Dylan, what I really respect about Dylan is the fact that he
Dylan starting first.
films himself and then he analyzes the footage to see what he's doing wrong. I try to tell Dylan that he doesn't need to do that. That's why, he has us for. We analyze his game for him.
And film.
And film it.
Yeah, that went on deaf ears for me as well when I tried to explain that.
We'll tell you all the things you don't want to hear.
Dylan, after that first game, came to me and said, I want to know my stats. He didn't even want to wait.
You had him, though.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what he came back here for. There's that power, Dave.
Loren can hit those ceiling shots at will.
Point.
You'd think if he just hit the ceiling with every shot, he couldn't lose.
3 serves 0.
But he'd rather hit these balls onto the golf course.
Point.
Players are really kind of awestruck by this facility that the WPH has created here and all of its donors. Not only do you have these amazing 5 3-wall courts, but you head around the corner and there's 5 4-wall courts on the other side of these 3-wall courts. You've got 36 championship holes of golf just to the left of the courts,
5 serves 0.
and then 40 tennis courts
Yeah.
right next to the 4-wall courts.
And then an indoor facility that has basketball, indoor, foosball, pool, all those little games that you like to play inside, which is
Okay.
even closer than golf course. And I can hear,
0 serves
with my
5.
headphones on here, I can hear the golfers hitting that ball.
Well, as long as there's no pickleball. have to draw the line somewhere.
Well, I like pickleball. I just
I bet.
don't like the people that play it.
And Loren slips there, not because that part of the court is slippery, Dave. I think it was just his shoes. Because that part of the court is not slippery.
5, serve 0. Point.
And the writing looks like it's on the WPH outdoor wall here,
6,
Dave.
0.
As Dylan looks like he's on his way to playing for that yellow mask.
Second serve.
Well, he has a pretty good system.
I look at Dylan as playing 4-wall in the 3-wall court.
Set up.
He's trying to avoid these high, deep, long rallies. He's positioning himself in the front of the court, and he's trying to end these rallies.
0, serve 6.
His serve also, Dave, is a 4-wall serve. He hits it with that low sidearm swing. Look at that beautiful whip left kill. Cross court. Now look, let's watch his serve here. His contact point is down around his knee,
6, serve 0.
which is more like a 4-wall serve. And he can, from that position, hit it short, just over the line, or deep. You see most 3-wall servers, Dave, adjusting their contact point on the serve so it's above the waist, in between the waist and the chest,
Right.
for a power serve. But you see Dylan really not making any adjustment,
Serve.
and it's working. He served very well in that first game.
Point.
Boy, and another miss there for Loren Collado.
8, serve 0. Point.
Oh my God.
Nine, serve 0.
Dylan with 3 aces, as we mentioned, Dave, in the first game. Gets another ace right there. Dylan telling me, Dave, that he believes his serve is what helps him get into a rhythm offensively.
And he went
Uses his serve to try and keep his opponents off balance so they can't get into a good rhythm while he does get into a good rhythm.
11, serve 0.
So he understands the importance, Dave, of that serve. And you mentioned in the first match what players are thinking about in the service box. He clearly does have a system.
I think that's a huge thing. And if you're going to send one message to somebody that was watching that hadn't played the game much, that message would be, when you get into the service box, make sure you have an idea. This is the only way you're going to score. So you might as well, I've seen so many players just throw the ball into play. They don't have an idea of what they even want to do against their opponent, and they're upset when they lose. But if you can say, I generated a point by hitting the ball to their left, they gave a weak return and I killed it with my right, why don't I just keep trying to do that?
Going back to John Bike, he said that serving in 3-wall was his favorite thing to do in handball. Returning in 3-wall, his least favorite thing. It is a helpless feeling when you're returning serve against a great server in 3-wall.
I hate it.
You just feel like, I really have to get lucky to even get into a rally. And that's the kind of mentality you want to have in the service box, making your opponent feel that way.
Side up. Zero, serves 12.
Dylan telling me, Dave, that he wanted to play hard from the get-go with Loren because he knows how good he is, and Dylan himself has a reputation for starting slow in tournaments. Could be one of the reasons that he hasn't had that
2, serves
breakthrough that so many have expected of him.
Point.
Some quick points here from Collado.
Much like Ricardo Palma, Dave, who put down the hamburger when he got the invite to play in this icebreaker, Dylan said, I was so excited, I've been so hungry to play in tournaments and to compete. So to have a chance to come here and have something to look forward to and train for made a huge difference for him, and I think you've noticed it, Dave.
I can see it. But maybe he was hungry knowing that Ricardo put that hamburger down. Sometimes that... I think Ricardo put that hamburger down and then picked it back up and ate it. After watching that first game.
After watching him, I said he should have eaten it.
Might have helped. That's a good shot.
Point.
Well, you talked about Loren's court coverage was not too quick to move up to that ball. That ball was just hanging there. Would have been an easy re-kill if Loren was on his horse. Dylan's taking a little bit too much off those fly kills.
Side out.
You hit those fly kills that slow, Dave, and it gives your opponent a chance to move up.
And then they have the advantage.
Four,
Right.
serves 13.
But Loren looks a little deflated right now.
Deep.
You have to realize in 3-wallers, things can change very quickly. We saw in the first icebreaker,
Second
Dave, I
serve.
believe Abraham Montiel was down 12-1 against Sam Esser and won that game 21-12.
Right.
So these big swings are very possible. I'd say more so, not that we haven't seen them in 4-wall, but more so in 3-wall because of the advantage the server has.
God damn it!
Now, unless you've got that amazing Andy Net sidewall crack flat rollout, your only chance for a power serve ace in 4-wall is just clearing the short line by 2 or 3 inches.
And then double bouncing before the
Right,
next
but
ball.
in 3-wall, you've got that option on either side, but you've also got the deep option out the door for 2 more. And I would say you've also got the hard hop right down the middle is
Nope.
another option.
You also have that
14, serves 4.
just over the line crack if your opponent is playing the back line because you've peppered that back line so many times on the previous serves.
Well, that's what I mean. So you've got 5 legitimate options to hit an ace serve in 3-wall. Even if it's not an ace, you're going to get a weak return if you hit any of those 5 well.
Second time out, Loren. The score is 14. Like 4 serves
I was
14.
impressed with, I believe it was back in September, watching the handball here where I'm thinking it was Abraham Ondijo went with an overhand lob serve. And he was generating a few points that way. And I thought that, this is something that almost motivated me to want to go into the court and just say, I'm going to practice this overhand because if you put a little bit of pace on it to avoid keeping your opponent from stepping in and cutting it off, maybe meeting the sidewall at about that point where the ball comes down, that could be a very good serve out here.
I think it is a very good serve.
4
And
serves 14.
it's not really possible if you're paying attention for your opponent to fly kill it, because if you see them take 1 step in, you just blast the serve to the other side, and that prevents that. I don't buy into the notion that the power serve takes a lot out of you. In the lob serve stage, I just don't see bouncing the ball and hitting it taking a lot out of you.
14 serves 4.
So in terms of saving energy, I don't see that being a factor.
If anything, that power serve gets you into the rhythm,
Right.
loosens your body up also. I agree with you.
I mean, you're hitting, we've charted matches, Dave, where you're hitting between 110 and 130 shots per game. So bouncing the ball and serving it is not going to be what wears you down. This kind of rally will wear you out. This is already
Oh my god.
10 shots in.
Point.
Fuck.
15 serves 4.
Loren just really getting taken to the Clark Park woodshed here.
Point.
There actually is a woodshed here, Dave. Mm-hmm. And he's in it.
16-4 here. Game number 2.
16 serves 4.
First game was 21-5.
6, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, 14 minutes. That's a perfect shot. Now, why isn't Loren doing that more?
I don't know. That's one of the best shots you'll ever see out here.
But just standing behind Loren for a couple of points, it just seems like he's one of the few guys that can actually do that
4 serves
Yeah.
16.
with ease. I mean, so many players that play this game wish they could do that. He can do it with either hand.
But he leaves that ball up.
Right.
Gets a hand on it, but Dylan does the right thing.
Well, Dylan was smart to use his left there, Dave, because he boxes Loren out and doesn't need to hit a perfect shot because he's got Loren pinned
16
against the
for
right
4.
wall. And sometimes when you see these pro players take the ball with their left, it's for that reason. That was an opportunity to win the rally with that ceiling shot.
Oh my goodness. He misses the ceiling, actually hits the front wall first, right? And the ball still goes over the left corner?
Well, that was a party ball. I mean, that hit the ceiling. I mean, the front wall, then the ceiling.
Yeah, but that never ever makes it out that
No.
far. That went over the left corner
No,
wall.
that was just one of those strange.
That ball
odd
usually
bounces.
hits the ground and checks up straight.
Right.
That continued on. He must have hit that ball much closer to the ceiling. Almost at the same time.
Now, Loren should be able to pepper deep power serves within a foot of that back line every time. Like that. And look what it gets him.
Point.
And that wasn't even a good one. That checked into the side wall, and he still gets a free point.
5, sir,
Imagine if he
16.
hits that serve without touching the side wall.
There's another good one. Yeah, these deep serves are really the best thing you can do out here.
But if you clip the side wall with these deep serves, that's a terrible error. You're taking all the speed off the ball. The ball has now lost all of that speed, so if you hit the serve 60 or 65 miles per hour, it's moving off the side wall at about 4 miles per hour. If it doesn't touch the side wall, it's still moving like that at 60, and it's just a blur. Can't touch it. Perfect serve there from Dylan, who slides his hand under the ball, leads with the elbow there to hit that natural.
17, sir, 5.
And it seems like these right-handed servers are reluctant to establish the serve to the right. But really, that's the best serve because you're keeping the ball in front of you. And you can very easily run the ball out of the court with a natural. And you can also mix in reverses, which will
18, sir, 5.
make the ball go out the door.
Point.
He sets up that shorter serve by hitting those 2 deep serves consecutively. So it's 3 easy points all off the serve. 2 aces, and then 1 that sets up a kill.
$19, sir, 5. Deep ball.
That's where bouncing the ball that low to hit the ball deep can be a little bit tricky because he has to hit up on that ball
Second serve.
more than he'd like to. Well, that time the contact point was a little bit higher, playing it safer on the second serve.
Yeah, he's been doing that. Kind of standing up more during that second serve. But if you're underneath and going low on that serve and you're putting a little natural hook on there, you can get underneath the ball and pop it up.
Possible match point, sir, 5.
This is match point now.
I feel like if the long line was at 60 feet, Loren would still be hitting the ball out. And there's another one.
And he does it again.
That one would have been out of 60 feet.
And that means that Dylan Hernandez is in the finals of this Icebreaker Challenge in Tucson, Arizona, where we are following the protocols for the pandemic and making sure that everybody stays safe. Dave, you have some stats really quick?
I know this is your favorite part of the match. 5 aces for Dylan, 3 for Loren. Dylan with 5 first strike kills, Loren with none. So of Dylan's 21 points, 10 came on the first or second shot that he hit in the rally, either the ace or the first strike kill. Dylan very balanced in that game. 6 right-hand rally enders, 6 left-hand rally enders.
Amazing. Well,
Great balance. Loren with just 6 rally enders, none with his left. Loren wins the majority of the longer rallies. 7 out of 10 go in Dylan's favor. Dylan wins those. And once again, Loren with way too many errors. 14 in the first game, 12 in the second game, just 3 for Dylan. That tells the story.
it does. Loren Collado will now be in the third place finals against Ricardo Palma, and Dylan Hernandez will be in the finals against Erik Torres. And you're going to watch it right here with WPHLive.tv. For Dave Fink, my name is Dave Vincent. Stay around. We'll have more coverage in Tucson, Arizona for this Icebreaker right around the corner. Stick with us.